Over 60 top 5 powerful fruits rebuild muscle and reverse sarcopenia. Have you ever wondered if there's a secret to rebuilding muscle after 60, something beyond pills, powders, or complicated routines? Most of us grow up believing that muscle loss is simply part of getting older. We're told to accept weaker arms, slower recovery, and to fear losing our independence. But new breakthroughs in brain and nutrition science are rewriting that story. It turns out your everyday fruit bowl might hold some of the most powerful tools for restoring lost muscle and strength. Surprising, right? If recent research shows that certain fruits contain unique natural compounds, not just for maintaining what you have, but for actively triggering muscle regeneration deep inside yourselves. This is critical because after 60, muscle mass can drop by as much as 35% every decade. That's not just about looks, it's about energy, balance, and the ability to live life on your own terms. The real danger isn't just shrinking muscles, it's what happens next. Reduced strength, longer recovery times, higher risk of falls, and a gradual loss of the independence you value most. But here's the hopeful news. Scientists have found that specific nutrients in fruits like uracilic acid, anthocyanins, and potassium-rich compounds can signal your body to grow new muscle, reduce harmful inflammation, improve blood sugar control, and even jumpstart the repair teams inside your muscles. This isn't just about eating healthy. This is about smart, targeted nutrition that actually speaks the language of your body. In today's episode, you'll discover the top 5 fruits that science shows can help turn back the clock on muscle loss. We'll break down how these fruits work, when to eat them, and the real biology behind their powerful effects. Plus, we'll talk about simple ways to build new eating habits because knowing what to eat is only half the battle. By the end, you'll have a clear step-by-step plan you can use every single day, even if you've never thought of yourself as someone who eats for performance. And here's the best part. You won't just walk away with a grocery list, you'll have a neuroscience-backed strategy for regaining your strength, energy, and confidence, one delicious bite at a time. If you're ready to reclaim your power and independence as you age, hit the subscribe button and join us on this journey to a stronger, healthier you. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Let us know which fruit you're most excited to try or share your own story about. Staying strong after 60, your experience couldn't inspire someone else. Now, let's get started. When most people think about rebuilding muscle, especially after the age of 60, they think of one thing: protein. And while dietary protein is undeniably important, what's often overlooked is how your body decides whether to build, maintain, or break down muscle. That decision doesn't start with how much protein you eat. It starts with cellular signaling, messages inside your body that tell muscle cells to grow, repair, or degrade. One of the most important of these signals is a molecular pathway called mTOR, short for mechanistic target of rapamycin. mTOR is like the master switch for muscle protein synthesis. When activated, it tells your body to start building muscle tissue. Traditionally, this switch is triggered by resistance training and essential amino acids, especially leucine. But here's where it gets fascinating. Certain fruits can also activate mTOR or enhance the conditions that support its activation. Sometimes the most powerful tools for muscle health are hiding in plain sight. Case in point, bananas. Often dismissed as just sugar, bananas are actually a neuromuscular superfood, especially important after the age of 60. Why? Because one of the overlooked causes of muscle weakness, cramps, and even poor balance is mineral depletion. As we age, we tend to absorb and retain fewer key electrolytes, especially potassium and magnesium, both essential for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and hydration. Let's break this down. Your muscles don't contract on willpower alone. They respond to electrical signals from nerves. That signal travels through a chain of ionic changes. Sodium out, potassium in across the muscle membrane. If you're low in potassium, the signal weakens, and so does your strength. A single medium banana contains about 425 milligrams of potassium, nearly 10% of your daily needs. Potassium helps reduce muscle fatigue, maintain electrolyte balance, and prevent painful cramps that often disrupt sleep or limit mobility in older adults. But it's not just potassium. Bananas also contain magnesium, which supports hundreds of cellular processes, including muscle relaxation. One study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher potassium intake was associated with increased muscle mass and reduced age, muscle loss, especially in older women. and magnesium intake has been linked to improvements in grip strength, leg power, and physical performance in people over 60. So how do you turn bananas into a practical protocol? A simple tool is this: have one banana paired with a protein source like Greek yogurt or a scoop of whey within 30 minutes after light to moderate exercise. The natural sugars help replenish glycogen stores while the minerals support rehydration and muscle function. The pairing with protein promotes muscle repair. Alternatively, bananas can be eaten in the evening with nut butter to provide both minerals and sustained energy release before sleep, which may reduce nighttime muscle cramps and support overnight muscle recovery. If you've ever struggled with low energy, slower recovery after physical activity, or that heaviness in your legs that wasn't there in your 40s, it might not be your age, it might be your mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouses of your cells, especially your muscle cells, which are some of the most metabolically active in the body. As we age, the number and function of mitochondria decline. This means your muscles get less energy, recover more slowly, and become more vulnerable to damage. But one fruit has emerged as a potent ally in protecting and even rejuvenating these tiny power plants: blueberries. Blueberries contain a class of antioxidants called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue color. These compounds have a direct impact on mitochondrial health. A 2020 study published in the Journals of Gerontology found that older adults who consumed 35 grams of freeze-dried blueberries daily showed improved mitochondrial function in muscle tissue, increased strength, and enhanced mobility after just 12 weeks. What's happening at the cellular level is remarkable. Anthocyanins reduce oxidative stress, a major driver of mitochondrial decline, and enhance the expression of PGC1A, a gene that stimulates the production of new mitochondria. Think of it like flipping on your cellular energy generator and ordering more backup units at the same time. Have you ever noticed how much harder it is to bounce back after a walk, hike, or workout now compared to your younger years? That's not just muscle soreness, that's slower mitochondrial recovery, and the good news is it's modifiable. A simple science-based protocol is this: add 1/2 to 1 cup of blueberries, fresh or frozen, to your post-exercise meal or morning smoothie. The key is consistency because the protective effects build over time. This isn't a superfood hack. It's a long-term nutritional investment in your cellular energy systems. And here's a bonus: blueberries don't just help the muscles, they help the brain. The same anthocyanins that boost mitochondrial function in muscle cells also improve blood flow and reduce inflammation in the brain. So when you eat blueberries, you're enhancing both your physical strength and your cognitive endurance. One of the silent forces driving age, muscle loss, and overall decline in physical performance is something most people never feel directly, but its fingerprints are everywhere in slow recovery: joint stiffness, reduced strength, and persistent fatigue. That force is chronic low-grade inflammation. As we age, the body's inflammatory set point tends to rise. This is known as inflaging, and it creates a hostile environment for muscle preservation. Inflammatory molecules like IL-6, TNF-alpha, and CRP disrupt muscle protein synthesis, damage mitochondria, and interfere with insulin signaling, all of which accelerate sarcopenia. But there's a fruit that can dramatically reduce these inflammatory signals, and it doesn't come from a rare Amazonian plant. It comes from the humble tart cherry. Tart cherries, particularly the Montmorini variety, are packed with anthocyanins and polyphenols that have been shown to reduce inflammation markers in both blood and muscle tissue. So in a randomized control trial published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, participants who consumed tart cherry juice for 7 days before and after a strenuous exercise bout experienced significantly less muscle soreness, reduced inflammation, and faster strength recovery compared to those given a placebo. But here's what makes this especially relevant after 60. Tart cherries don't just help after extreme workouts, they help baseline inflammation. Studies in older adults show that daily consumption of tart cherry juice lowers CRP levels, a key marker of systemic inflammation, and improves markers of oxidative stress, even without exercise. What's happening in your body when you drink tart cherry juice or eat dried tart cherries? You're delivering natural compounds that downregulate NF-κB, a central driver of the body's inflammatory response. You're also reducing uric acid levels, supporting joint health, and preserving muscle tissue by reducing catabolic signaling, the breakdown signals that increase with age. Here's a simple protocol to apply. Drink 8-12 ounces of unsweetened tart cherry juice in the evening, ideally 1 to 2 hours before bed. Why evening? Because tart cherries are also a natural source of melatonin, the sleep-promoting hormone, which helps improve recovery during deep sleep. And quality sleep is where much of your muscle repair takes place. Imagine trying to rebuild a house with all the right materials, bricks, wood, nails, but no way to transport them to the site. That's what happens inside your body when muscle rebuilding nutrients and oxygen can't reach the tissue that needs repaired. And after 60, one of the hidden barriers to muscle regeneration is reduced blood flow. That's where pomegranates come in. Nature's nitric oxide booster. Pomegranates are rich in polyphenols, especially allogenins, which the body converts into urolithins, compounds that significantly increase the production of nitric oxide, and is a vasodilator. It relaxes and widens blood vessels, improving circulation and enhancing the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to working muscle tissue. Why does this matter after 60? Because aging naturally impairs the endothelium, the thin layer of cells lining your blood vessels, leading to stiffer arteries and reduced blood flow. A 2016 study published in Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed pomegranate extract for just 2 weeks significantly improved blood flow, oxygen uptake, and physical performance during walking and exercise. In another study in Nature Metabolism found that urolithin A pomegranate compound activates mitophagy, a process that cleans out damaged mitochondria, supporting better muscle endurance and strength. Here's a simple and science-backed protocol. Drink 4 to 6 ounces of unsweetened pomegranate juice 30 to 60 minutes before light exercise or walking. This timing aligns with the peak in nitric oxide release, helping to boost blood flow during movement. Alternatively, add pomegranate seeds to a protein-rich salad or yogurt bowl to combine muscle-building amino acids with circulation-boosting polyphenols. And yes, it's okay to start small. Even a few tablespoons of concentrated pomegranate juice can make a difference, especially when used consistently. Let's take ursolite acetate as an example, a natural compound found in the skin of apples, cranberries, and prunes. Research from the University of Iowa published in Cell Metabolism found that ursolite acetate increased muscle mass and brown fat in mice by enhancing IGF-1 signaling and suppressing atrophy genes. In simple terms, this compound mimics some of the cellular effects of strength training even without exercise. Now, of course, fruit won't replace lifting weights, but imagine combining the two, resistance training, as the primary driver in nutrient-rich fruits, cellular amplifiers that enhance your results, especially as we age. This synergy becomes critical. Core summer signaling becomes less sensitive, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. That means we need a stronger signal, not just more protein, but also compounds that enhance the pathway itself. This is where fruits outperform supplements. Unlike isolated powders, fruits deliver a complex mix of bioactive compounds, antioxidants, polyphenols, micronutrients that work together to optimize the internal environment for muscle maintenance and growth. Have you ever wondered why some people bounce back quickly after illness or injury while others struggle? Often it comes down to how efficiently their bodies can repair muscle tissue, and that efficiency is governed by both inflammation levels and nutrient signaling, areas where fruits like apples, berries, and pomegranates offer clear advantages. A simple tool to apply is this. Start your day or end your strength session with a piece of skin on fruit like an apple or a handful of cranberries. The goal isn't to spike insulin or carb load, but to deliver signaling molecules like ursolite acid when your muscle cells are primed for growth. Here's what's happening in your body when you do that. You're not just feeding muscle, you're communicating with it. You're telling it, now is the time to grow. The nutrients are here. The inflammation is low. Let's rebuild. And this communication is especially important after 65. Why? Because satellite cells, the stem cells that repair and regenerate muscle, become less active with age. But research in the Journal of Physiology shows that certain plant compounds may help reawaken these cells by reducing chronic inflammation and improving mitochondrial health. The bottom line is this: Eating for muscle after 60 isn't just about hitting your protein target, it's about creating the internal environment where muscle tissue is encouraged to thrive, and certain fruits, especially those rich in skin-based compounds like uracilic acid, help set that stage. This is how we shift the conversation from just eating healthy to eating for healthier resilience, for strength, and for longevity. Knowing what to eat is powerful, but science shows it's rarely enough to create lasting change, especially after 60, when habits are deeply ingrained and biological rhythms shift. So the final key in reversing sarcopenia isn't just nutritional, it's behavioral. The fruits we've explored, apples, blueberries, tart cherries, bananas, and pomegranates, are science-backed allies, but they need to be timed, paired, and integrated into your life in a way that your brain actually sticks with. That's where behavioral science meets nutritional neuroscientists. Let's start with timing. Research consistently shows that the body is most responsive to nutrients in two windows: post-exercise within 30 to 60 minutes. This is when muscle cells are primed for glucose uptake and amino acid incorporation. It's also when insulin sensitivity is highest, before bed, during sleep, growth hormone peaks, and muscle repair accelerates. Consuming the right nutrients before bed supports overnight recovery and reduces muscle breakdown. Here's a practical protocol: post-exercise, pair of banana or blueberries with 15 to 25 g of protein like Greek yogurt, a protein shake, or cottage cheese. Before bed, have a small bowl of tart cherries or apple slices with nut butter, combining anti-inflammatory effects with slow-release energy and sleep-promoting compounds. Next, let's talk pairings. Certain fruit compounds absorb better when consumed with fats or protein. For example, pomegranate polyphenols are better absorbed when eaten with healthy fats like avocado or olive oil. Anthocyanins in blueberries become more bioavailable when paired with dairy proteins. Uracilic acid in apple skin is fat-soluble, making it more effective when eaten with a small amount of nut butter, seeds, or yogurt. This isn't about turning every meal into a science project. It's about simple upgrades. Ask, what's one easy thing I can add to make this more supportive of muscle health? Now let's address consistency, the biggest hurdle. Behavioral neuroscience shows that repetition, emotional salience, and identity alignment are what make habits last. Here's a tool from cognitive psychology. Use when-then statements to automate fruit-based habits. For example, when I finish my walk, then I'll have my banana with protein. When I start preparing dinner, then I'll set out my pomegranate juice. These statements link behavior to a consistent cue, activating the dorsal prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive control. In other words, it reduces the mental friction of making a healthy choice. And finally, emotion matters. If a behavior feels like punishment or obligation, your brain resists it. But when it feels like a step towards strength, energy, and autonomy, it becomes reinforcing. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to climb stairs without hesitation? How would I move through my day if I trusted my body again? Fruits may seem simple, but when used strategically, they become a daily vote for that future self. So the question isn't just what should I eat, it's what system can I put in place to make the right choice. Automatic. Start small. Pick one fruit, one time of day, and one pairing. Build from there. This is not about perfection, it's about momentum. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned today. Muscle loss after 60 isn't just about aging, it's about understanding and working with your body's signals. And now, you know that some of the most powerful allies in this journey aren't expensive supplements or complicated routines, but simple fruits you can add to your daily meals. You've discovered how apples and cranberries with uracilic acid can activate your body's muscle-building switch. You've seen how blueberries help recharge your cellular batteries, giving you more strength and sharper thinking. Tart cherries reduce hidden inflammation, making it easier to bounce back after activity. Bananas with potassium and magnesium support healthy muscles and nerves, and pomegranates boost blood flow, helping nutrients and oxygen reach where they're needed. But knowing is only the first step. Real change comes from small, consistent actions, adding the right fruit at the right time, and pairing them with simple habits that fit your life. Remember, every bite is a vote for your future strength, energy, and independence. You don't have to be perfect, just start with one change, repeat it daily, and watch the benefits build over time. If you found value in this video, please subscribe for more science-backed tips on healthy aging.
And I'd love to hear from you.
Leave a comment below, tell us which fruit you're excited to add to your routine, or share your own experience with building strength and staying active after 60. Your story could encourage and help others in our community. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, it's never too late to grow stronger. With the right choices, your best years can still be ahead. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on future videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.